Here lies what was once a quaint little part of the city of Halifax. In the days when it was still around, it was a place to call home for a number of African-Canadian Haligonians. Where there were houses, now lies a park. Where there was a community woven around the local church, the replica steeple now sticks out more than ever. The echoes of long ago still resonate under the shoreline and across the bay. What once was here is no longer. That is because something happened here that is still relevant and controversial today: the demolition and razing of Africville. As resident Joseph Skinner said in an interview in 1962, "When you're in this country and you own a piece of property, you're not a second-class citizen." Land treaties dating back to 1848 prove that the first 5 land purchases in Africville were in the names of families Arnold, Brown, Carvery, Hill, and Fletcher, all settlers of African descent. After a good while, the community grew to a well-established 400 residents, and although they lacked proper sewage and water services, they still maintained good spirits, as the community was based around the Seaview African United Baptist Church, built only a year after the first land purchase. Being a people tightly woven around the church established their faith as the foundation upon which they built on. But all of that would soon cease to be. Much debate has taken place over the cause of the removal of the community of Africville, the most common reason being the centuries-old racial tension that came to a climax during the 1960s civil rights movement. Through my research of Africville, however, I have found 3 additional reasons as to why Africville was targeted. In 1945, after the Second World War, Halifax instituted the master plan for the city of Halifax. The focal point of the initiative was to start the gears turning again, both economically and socially. The plan included urban renewal and, especially, slum clearance on the peninsula. 2 years after the plan was introduced, Africville was deemed industrial land, and following this, in 1957, the North Shore Development Plan was given the thumbs up to begin organizing the razing of the area. With invitations from the city to outside experts like Albert Rose, who surveyed the area, the decision to follow through with the land renewal was almost certain. Having classified Africville as industrial land, plans to develop the area followed. But even though it was given the industrial title, there still remained around 400 residents for them to deal with in order to truly use it for industrial purposes. The idea with the most implications was to build an expressway through the area, but this never happened. Instead, they decided to place the city dump just next door by about 300 meters. However, this was not the city's first act of such treatment. In 1854, an extension to the Intercolonial Railroad was built through parts of the village, meaning that a handful of houses were demolished. Later, in 1874, a center for infectious disease was built just south of the community. A slaughterhouse was also placed just a bit further from where the city dump would eventually be. Not to mention the lack of proper sewage and water services that the city should have provided, since the people of Africville were participating members of society, in that they paid their taxes. All of this diminished the value of the land and reinforced the city's reasons for pushing the people out. The city therefore said that the health conditions were not suitable for the inhabitants of the area. This presented yet another reason to expropriate the people. The expropriation, however, was neither kind nor clean. The first building to be demolished was the church, which fell in the night, and the rest of the houses, all inhabited by everyday people, were eventually demolished. In the aftermath, the residents were scattered all over the city, and though some have returned in protest, they have not yet reclaimed the land that has been theirs for over 150 years. And although the apology issued in 2010 was sincere, it could never account for the mistreatment of Africville and its people.